Welcome back to Passionate About Music Education, a channel dedicated to music educators like you and me. My name is Rachel Hardman and today I'm going to talk about marketing your program. I'm sure nobody really talked to you about marketing your program, whether you are teaching independently as in a music studio or whether you're teaching within an education establishment like a school. So how do we start? Because we all know the value of music. We understand how music is important for mindfulness, for well-being, for our students. We know that because we are passionate about music. It's what we do. But the rest of the building, not necessarily as passionate about music because we make lots of noise and we have concerts and we get in the way of their tests. So, how do we really get other people on board with what we're doing? Well, first of all, we need to educate our colleagues on the value of arts and the value of academic music, because there is still this misconception that all we do is play around in our music room, mess around on the keyboards, and occasionally do these very inconvenient concerts that sometimes they have to turn up to. And you and I know that is absolutely not what we're doing on a daily basis in our classroom. What we do is so much more than that. But why should they know anything about our program? Why should they care? They have their own subject area that they're passionate about and their own children and classes to market and, promote. So why should they care about us? And they shouldn't. It is our job to help them understand and to educate them and to have these very open conversations about what music and the arts do for our students. So number 2 is to showcase what you're doing in the classroom as well as your individual soloists and your groups, because again, we want people to understand that music is a challenging academic subject in its own right. Forget playing, your concert performance piece. Actually studying music at GCSE and A-level, IB or AP is very, very challenging for our students. And although people think, oh, we've only got 2 students in there, we've only got 2 students in there because there's only 2 students who have the knowledge, skill and ability at that moment in time to do it. So it's, don't undervalue the academic, that's really hard. I'll tell you what, you go and do the academic music, see how easy it is for you. It's not. So it's really important that we share that academic knowledge, that we share how challenging academic music is. And we need to do that by showcasing what we're doing in the classroom. And how you market that will depend on your school. You may well market it by showcasing the work in an assembly setting. You might share it over your school's online platform. It might be Google. You might showcase a video that people can see. You may well ask your students to do a presentation. How you showcase what your students are doing academically as well as your soloists and as well as your groups is really important to keep growing your subject and the value of your subject. The next part of this is not only the internal work you're doing within the environment with your students and your teachers and your colleagues, is then the next element is the external, the parent community, the wider school community, and of course then using social media, the website. Find what works for you, a couple of platforms where parents can really understand what you're doing, what the program looks like, how they can sign up for music lessons, how their child gets involved in, extracurricular, why should they take GCSE music, whatever it is in your situation, make sure that people can access that content and that information easily. Because you do that and they're looking on the website and they're looking for that information, they'll understand how to do it, how to contact you and how to get their child involved. Tip 3 is if you have instrumental teachers coming into your school, whether it's during the school day, after school, those visiting peripatetic staff, they are the lifeblood of your department and they're super great colleagues. Make sure that they're involved in the communication, that they feel part of your school and feel part of your department. There is nothing worse than your poor old guitar teacher turning up to teach 7 students in year 7 and year 7 are on a field trip that nobody communicated with them on. Or that they're out on the field having their school photo taken. So they can't teach, they can't earn any money, they can't reschedule. And that's frustrating because it creates challenges for you to fix You've got to then pull them out of other lessons, or you'll have parents challenging on costs, or that teacher doesn't get paid. So you communicate and involving your teachers, maybe even if you can get them on the school emails. So when we get those general emails from admin where it's, here's the school calendar, blah, 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 and it goes to the whole staff, there is no reason why those instrumental teachers can't be on that email list too. They love it, they feel part of the school, and they're more likely to help your department grow. Other aspect of, other than looking after your instrumental team, is of course explaining to your non-music colleagues how they serve the department, who they are, what they do, and why those lessons are so important, particularly if they're having to, your students are being pulled out of lessons to have their 30-minute clarinet lesson. You will always get pushback. It never disappears. It doesn't matter how much explaining you do, how much supportive work you do, how much you say to your colleagues, please don't tell a child off if they're coming out of your science lesson on a rota and it impacts on a test. Please let me know and I will sort it and I'll switch. Don't tell the child off. They're not being put, it's not their decision, they're on a rota. Don't tell. And you'll always get that one teacher who tells the child off and the kid comes to you in tears, oh, I think I might quit lessons because so-and-so teacher won't let me out and says my science test is more important. It's a frustrating situation to be put in, but it is a reality of what your job is, and you will find a way of fixing it. You will also have a little quick word with that teacher, whether it's an email or a conversation, to say, oh, you know, this child was upset, how can we help, how can we work with you, can you let us know when tests are in advance and we can switch. And you will have to do all of that. That is part of the job, but educating your colleagues of why, how the music program works with the individual teachers, how that you've got it on a rota, even sharing the rota so they can see in advance. I've done that before. Most of the time they won't even look at it, but they don't have the excuse to say they don't know. And that's what you're trying to take out. Well, it's on there. If it was an issue, you could have told me and we could have switched in advance. A lot of the time then it takes out the confrontation that you will have to deal with because you've shared information, you've communicated. Other aspect, and it depends on the type of school, is the money it generates. In some schools, the money just pays the teacher. In other schools, the instrumental teacher comes in, they get a percentage of the revenue, and then the school gets the rest of the revenue. People don't understand how much money that brings in. In one school, it was $250,000. It was a lot of money. When I explained why we were changing the system of instrumental lessons, explained the money it generates, people were shocked because they had no idea that we generated that much income for the school and we added that much value. So again, don't be afraid to talk about these real issues because people don't understand, and it's perfectly fine that they don't understand. They're not music teachers like you and I. They don't understand, but it's our job to educate them, particularly if you're trying to grow your department and grow your program and make big changes that are going to naturally have some pushback from your colleagues because they're worried that your subject area is going to impact on their area and their students and their grades. Number 4 is keep consistent. Keep sharing that message consistently. Now, it doesn't mean every single minute of the day because you'll be worn out because you'll need a PA to do that for you. And none of us are getting PAs in the music department because that just don't exist. So consistency is your message going out regularly, not just once an academic year. If you've got a new intake of staff who arrive in the January, again, share the message and all the information you sent out earlier in the year. It's okay to keep resharing. The same with students. You'll find that you have new students join the school in January that after the September intake. So again, if you've got instrumental lessons going or choirs and bands, these new students don't know that because they are new. So consistency, resharing information is important. Tip number 5 is showcase your students, even if they are informal concerts and you don't create revenue because you don't sell tickets. Invite the parents in, invite a few admin, keep it casual, keep it informal, give your beginner piano students or your beginner woodwind players a chance to play. Why? Well, first of all, it helps them grow in confidence, and you can't fit everybody into your big 2-hour Christmas concert. It's just impossible. There's not enough time, you know that. But in those informal concerts, gives your beginner a chance to play their Twinkle Twinkle or beginning of Fairlies or whatever they're learning in a piano lesson. The child grows in confidence. They feel good about themselves. They've got opportunity to show what they've been learning to their parents and to the audience, to go for that musical experience of confidence building and, you know, the nerves. Their parent is there, watching them perform, celebrating their success, videoing it and sharing it on social media with the rest of the family who can't get there. And then, of course, they get to meet you. They get to meet that instrumental teacher. They get to buy into what you're doing because they see it. So don't underestimate showcasing the work that you're doing, but it doesn't have to be a huge 2-hour massive production. Those informal concerts are equally as important. Tip 6 is to thank people. If you have a concert and staff turn up and come and watch it and give up their evening instead of being at home marking, planning, or they've even gone to the point where they've actually helped by giving out programs, selling tickets, refreshments, thank them. Thank them publicly, thank them in front of the rest of the colleagues, whether you do that on email. It's really important. It means people will buy back into it and will come and give time next time. And this leads into tip 8, which is to thank your students and parents, to celebrate the success of any event, to just go with it. I loved the concert last night, I was super proud of their behaviour, if that's true, super proud of their performance, if that's true. Find something positive that you can celebrate and thank people, because again, people want to celebrate success. They want to be part of success. People jump onto the back of success. So if you've had a successful event, people want to know that it was successful. You thought it was successful. You'll get then lovely comments back from parents all the time and students. And of course, it helps grow your program. It helps people be consistently supportive because you're showing that you're proud of what these children are doing, which of course you are. My next tip, which is tip 8, is to look for opportunities to work with the outside community, build connection with local music teachers, music services. We did a whole project in one of my schools where we worked with the regiment band, which was really fantastic. It was a great way for them to come in and see what we were doing, for us to see what they were doing. Students really benefited from that. Outside artists, any way that you can work outside with the outside community, whether that's composers coming and doing workshop, whatever it is that really works with your setting, and it's going to be different in every setting, is to build those links. Now, you're not going to do that necessarily in the first week of you being at a new school, but it's certainly something you can put into your planning as you look at your sort of 1 year to 3 year strategy plan for growing your department. And my favourite, which is tip 9, is put pictures up everywhere. If you have done a concert or you have had, you know, some pictures taken of your students doing some academic work and you've got all these beautiful photos, put them up in your department, put them up around the building, because everybody loves those pictures. Children walk past and they look at the pictures of themselves performing and they feel a sense of pride, and everybody else who's not been involved in it gets to see it, because the chances are most of your school community are not going to come to your concerts. They're not going to come down to your music room, so they have no idea what you're doing. But you put up a whole beautiful wall display of beautiful pictures, everybody gets to see them. It's a visual, it's an instant marketing, and I just love having all those pictures up of those action shots. So again, whenever you do a concert, find either a member of staff who loves taking pictures, or that really eager student, a drama student, a media student who's pretty good with the camera, and get those really arty shots up, because seeing that pictures, the program, it's just a special moment. When you put that display up, it's a nice display to put up because there's a sense of pride, and you're like, look at this, look at these kids. Keep it balanced so that you have as many of your students up there. You don't just have 1 or 2 of the same children up every time, and that really is a lovely way to market your department. So what I'd really love to know is, what is one of the best ways that you've found that helps grow and market your department? Well, share that in the comments below. Let us all know, because we are a community of passionate music educators here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, put the notification on for latest videos, and I'll see you again here very soon on Passionate About Music Education.